Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with something I haven't done in a while. It's time for the Atak Sportz for this Monday afternoon, July the 7th, 2014. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July weekend. A lot of things happened in the world of wrestling and cage fighting. So let's kick off with some cage fighting. It was a double fight card this past weekend as UFC 175 took place on Saturday, followed by the Ultimate Fighter finale on Sunday. I missed the Ultimate Fighter. I didn't miss Ultimate Fighter finale. I saw that. But I missed the UFC 175 pay-per-view, which included two very successful title defenses. For the first time in her entire UFC or any MMA career, Ronda Rousey did not get a submission victory. Yay! Knockout! 16 seconds to Alexis Davis, destroying her, like I said, the first round, 16 seconds. Well, Chris Weidman went unanimous decision, 5-rounder with Lyoto Machida. I knew it would be a tough challenge, but Weidman, despite black eye and all, as we saw as he was at the Ultimate Fighter finale, he indeed survived against Machida. Meanwhile, we of course had other undercard fights, and the main card including Uriah Hall defeating Thiago Santos by unanimous decision, and Russell Doe defeating Marcus Brimage in a split decision. Of course, Weidman defending the middleweight championship, Ronda Rousey defending the middleweight championship, women's, and it was supposed to be a 5-card fight, but Stefan Struve got injured and apparently had a fainting episode right before the pay-per-view began, thus canceling a scheduled fight against Matt Minotron. And of course, last night, continuing the UFC doubleheader, we had the Ultimate Fighter finale, which was a good card to the main event. We had I saw this card, a great first fight between Dustin Ortiz and Justin Scoggins. Very interesting fight, very fast-paced, back-and-forth fight, and Dustin Ortiz won by split decision, because we had Scoggins dominating the first half, the first round, and then the last 2 rounds, Ortiz dominated. So that's why it was probably a tough fight to score. Then, big victory for Derek Lewis. This guy, they don't call him the Black Beast for nothing. He just destroyed Guto Innocence by a TKO. Just destroyed him with those big punches. Same with the 2 finales for the Ultimate Fighter winners. In the middleweight final, Eddie Gordon defeated the highly favored Diego Lima by a TKO. Like the Derek Lewis fight, just punched the crap out of Lima. Lima got one big right hand, never really recovered. The same ending goes for the other Ultimate Fighter finale for this season, as Corey Anderson pummeled in maybe a questionable, cheap victory over Matt Van Buren in a TKO. Now, Matt Van Buren got back up. He wasn't fully knocked out, so maybe people may be questioning Herb Dean's call to end the fight, or even whoever the referee was. But no matter what, Corey Anderson won the fight. Then it was the battle of the coaches. We've seen the coaches get injured, or in some cases, fail drug tests and get retired or fail to show up to the pay-per-view. But we saw the coaches of the Ultimate Fighter fight. This season, it was Frankie Edgar and PJ Penn 3. It was like the other two. Although this time, it didn't go 5 rounds like the last 2 fights. But Penn got finished by Frankie Edgar. Penn did not deserve the comeback. You know, I applaud Penn for trying to get revenge, but he had to retire following the pummel. He got pummeled by Frankie Edgar. Penn had no offense whatsoever. He looked like a shell of his former self. He just got pummeled. He had no offense. Like, his punches were, like, minimal. And every time Edgar would go in, it's like, BAM! Right in your fucking face. Got pummeled. TKO in the 3rd round. As Frankie just pummeled on Penn. He was like a squasher for a main event. You know, it's a good call to the main event, because main event felt like a squash. But Penn retired, and Frankie Edgar will go on to defend the honor of himself as one of the big contenders in the featherweight division. Speaking of people retiring, BJ Penn was the only guy who retired over the weekend. Santino Marella for the WWE also retired over the weekend. He is actually Canadian. I don't know that he was a Canadian. He played in Italian all these years. He was in Canada for some WWE shows. He announced that he was publicly retiring after suffering his 2nd neck injury in less than a year. Love or hate Santino Marella and his comedy skits, he is a very entertaining fellow, former multi-time Intercontinental Champion, former Tag Champion. Even though he was more funny than serious, and he got annoying near towards the end. And it's still sad to see a guy like this get injured and have to end his career on such a career-ending injury. We'd like to wish Santino Marella the best of luck in his future endeavors. He'll probably still work for WWE because he's been on the Raw pre-show as a guest analyst, so he may continue to do that and do other things outside of the ring. Because I don't know how long his contract was up for WWE. How long was it going to be until he got to renew again? But best wishes to you, Santino Marella, and also the BJ Penn in your future endeavors. BJ Penn's going to the UFC Hall of Fame for sure. Santino, not so likely to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. But I'm with WWE Impact. I missed Impact on Thursday, but I got to watch it on DVR. This past Impact Thursday, we had a new Knockouts champion, Gail Kim, with the odds stacked in her favor with no screwy referee Stifler, and with Velvet being kicked out, it gave Velvet's little girl, Angie, no help. As indeed, yes, Gail would win evenly, one-on-one with the defeat and the victory for Miss Gail Kim, getting the Knockouts Championship again. We also got the Bobby Lashley fight. Little clean. Not a lot of... I thought it'd be a lot more interference. But MVP's cronies got kicked out as well. But still, Bobby Lashley would dominate over Mr. Young in retaining his TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And we'd also see the tag titles get defended, I think, with the Wolves defending, and they retained. I think it was a triple threat match involving them, the Menagerie, and the Bromans, Jesse and DJZ. It was a fun match. I love the Wolves, man. They're one of my favorite tag teams on now in TNA. And we also had, of course, Sam Shaw coming back from his little stint at the Looney Bin. The sick bastard, creepy bastard. He's out, thanks to his new friendship with Gunner. And Angle, Joe sees through Angle. We saw a beginning segment involving Joe and Angle. Because Joe sees through Angle. Angle's all nicey nice, but Angle's going to be like all the rest. Backstabbing fools. We'll see what happens with that and all that situation. And the impacts to come. Enough about Impact. Let's talk about Raw. WWE Raw preview for tonight. I can only think of top three questions that must be answered tonight. Actually, two. Only two questions be answered tonight. Question number 2. Will anything be added for Battleground? Well, we may have more people to be announced for the Battle Royal for the IC Championship to join. Damien Sandow, Great Khali, Kofi Kingston, and Cesaro for the vacated IC Championship since Barrett's injured. We also hopefully will see more seeds planning for the AJ Page rematch since AJ returned last week and the night of returns last week. And Jericho and Miz could face off tonight or at Battleground. But I smell a Jericho Wyatt feud. I want to see that, as I said in my Raw review last week. We'll see more seeds planted for that. And of course, question number 1. What will go down when Seth Rollins takes on John Cena? Last week, we saw Seth Rollins be this close to cashing in the money to make on John Cena following a post-match attack, following a tag team match involving him and Roman Reigns against Orton and Kane. But tonight, Rollins will face up against Cena one-on-one. But it won't be for the title. But it's going to be interesting to see Rollins against Cena. And I don't want Rollins to cash in on Cena, like I said last week. Because I don't want Rollins to end up like Damien Sandow in his career, how he tried to cash in his money to make on Cena and end up ruining his career. So I don't want Mr. Rollins to cash in on Cena. Anybody but Cena I want Rollins to cash in on. We'll also see Bret Hart make an appearance in this and more, heading towards Battleground on Raw at 8/7 Central USA Network. That is it for the Atak Sportz for this Monday. Thank you all very much for watching. Get ready for my Raw review later on this evening. That mine, y'all been attacked by the sports news from Zach. See ya! Yeah.